abstention from this vote? Okay. Okay. As I said, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions at this time? Okay. All in favor of the request, raise your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And any opposes? Passes at this time. Thank you. With one abstain. Thank you. Okay. Next on our agenda, we have a request by Mr. Ron Reeves with Reeves Engineers and Construction, LLC, for approval of a replat of the final plat for Chapel Hill subdivision, Phase 1, located on County Road 700. Staff, do you have any statements on this one?
So, Commission, what they're basically doing is this subdivision had already passed through final plat approval. It had went up to the council. The council had accepted the streets. What they were wanting to do is they needed to move some easements around. So the best way I thought that would be to, for the transparency's sake, bring it back through the final plat to allow you to see it. None of the lot sizes are necessarily changing. Nothing fundamental about this subdivision is changing. They're just adjusting the easements and the open areas that they have within this plat.
Okay.
So, and after review, staff does recommend this, the final plat be approved.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hardy. Mr. Reeves, do you have, or anyone from the request have any comments at this time? Okay. Steph, do you have any comments? Commissioner, do you have any comments? Okay, at this? Okay, well, at this time, we'll open the floor for public comments for this request for plat approval. If there's anyone that would like to speak on this, if you come forward at this time. If not, we will close the public comment at this time, and I will accept the motion for the request by Ron Reeves with Reeves Engineering and Construction, LLC, for approval of replat of the final plat for Chapel Hill subdivision, Phase 1, located on County Road 700.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request. Are there any questions from the commission at this time? All in favor, raise your right hand. Passes at this time. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, we have a request by War Eagle Capital on behalf of the Boatwright Company, LLC, to rezone 7.06 acres from PBD Planned Business District, as shown on Map A present, to RT Townhouse Residential District, as shown on Map B, proposed located at 114 South Corner Street. Staff.
Commission, we have a request to rezone a piece of property, about 7 acres, from a planned business district, or a PBD, to RT, which is our townhouse district. The adjoining areas are B2 and R3, and the surrounding areas are B1, R2, and RT. There's a little bit of a townhouse zoning off of West Lee Street, I believe is the proper street that it's off of. What they're wanting to do in this area is pretty straightforward. They're wanting to develop the back portion of what is commonly known as the mill property into townhouses. Right now, I don't have anything officially submitted to the office of a plan, but I do understand that there's going to be between 40 and 50 townhouses that would be able to connect, to be able to be put in this area, and they have a plan to connect, at least preliminarily have a plan to connect South Connor to Grimes Street in that area. After reviewing the request, staff does recommend approving the request, as seeing as downtown is the B2 area, which is basically our highest dense business district. An RT makes sense within that district because it kind of meshes up between the same type of business where we have 0 lot lines, and RT with townhouses where we have 0 lot lines. We do believe that it'll be a good mixture of housing and business within that area. And when looking at that, we do recommend the proposed rezoning.
Well, Mr. Harder, I know you realize that you hadn't received anything in the office yet. Do you know they're going to build around the building that's already there?
Yes, sir. So the building that's already there is not requested to be rezoned. It will be left as a planned business district. from my understanding, that the front side of that is still wanted to be used as business, potentially for redevelopment or for what they're already using it for.
Yeah, and far as you understand, the developer, the one to request, understands that and knows that the building's going to stay there?
Yes, sir. That was the developer's request, and that's the reason why they separated the parcels like they did and why they requested for the rezone in that area.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for explaining. Is there
Yes,
any
sir.
other question for Mr. Hardy before we sit down? Thank you, Mr. Hardy.
Yes, sir.
Would the requester like to have anything to say at this time? If not, then we'll open the floor for public comments. If you like, you would have 3 minutes to speak to the commission. At this time, you would come forward.
Good afternoon. My name is Kim Hubler, and my husband owns a business downtown in that district, Hubler Music at 201 West College. West College. We are both in favor of new housing and new development downtown. I do believe that there's a lot of older areas that this would help give it a better stigma, and give us some more housing downtown so the people that do feel the need to walk to work or, walk to those Main Street businesses have that ability.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for coming. We appreciate it, ma'am. Okay. Is there anything else from the commission at this time? Okay. If not, we'll close the public comment at this time, and I will accept the motion for a request by War Eagle Capital on behalf of Boatwright Company, LLC, to rezone 7.6 acres from PB, as shown on map A, present, to RT, as shown on map B, proposed located at 114 South Corner Street.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request for rezone for 7.06 acres from PBD to RT. Are there any questions from the commission at this time? If not, raise your right, approval, raise your right hand. And opposes? Passes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have 3 requests from the City of Enterprise. And Mr. Hart, if you like, you can go over each one of them, but I'll call each one of them separate. But if you want to, you could either do them all at once, explain to us. If you want to do them separate, just let me know. But we have a request by the City of Enterprise to amend Section 11.07 of the zoning ordinance to reflect the wording in Section 4-12, proximity of establishment to church, school, or playground of Enterprise, Alabama, Code of Ordinance for alcohol beverage.
So, Commission, what I'll do is I'll allow, if this pleases the Commission, Chairman, I'll allow you to read in the agenda item, and then I'll explain. That way we can have open conversation about it, and then that way we can move on to the next one.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Sir. So basically what we did within this recommended change is when we adopted our zoning ordinance earlier this year, this calendar year, we had put some verbiage in there about the proximity of establishments to church, schools, or playgrounds that sold alcoholic beverages. Within that, we also adopted some more language later on in the year in our non-zoning ordinances. And so with this, we're wanting to take the language that we adopted in our non-zoning ordinances and pair it up with the language that we adopted earlier. That way we have no confusion, we have no conflicts of the ordinances. They basically, in some way, form, or fashion, read the same, but there are different verbiages, there's different ways to interpret them. So to get all the gray area out of it, we want to change what is in our zoning ordinance to what we already have adopted within our standard ordinances. Our city attorney said we want the language to be consistent within our city ordinances. So there's not one thing that says this way and one thing that says it that way.
Thank you for correcting.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. All right. Is there any question for Mr. Hardy on this one?
I do have a question. What is the proximity number? Just remind me, please.
I do believe it is 300 feet.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, at this time, we'll open the floor for public comment on this request from Enterprise for Section 11.07 of the zoning ordinance to reflect the wording in section 4-12. Seeing none, I'll close the public comment at this time, and I will accept the motion on the request from the City of Enterprise to amend section 11.07 of the zoning ordinance and to reflect the wording in section 4-12, approximately of establishment to church, school, or playground of the Enterprise Alabama Code of Ordinance for alcoholic beverage.
Motion to accept.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request. Are there any questions from the commission? Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposes? Passes. Thank you very much. Mr. Harden, next, we have a request by the City of Enterprise to amend Table 5-2, permitted uses, non-residential district of the zoning ordinance to allow commercial kitchens as a permitted use in an M2 zone.
So again, Commission, when we updated our zoning ordinances earlier this year, the old zoning ordinances actually did not call out commercial kitchen within them. When we updated the ordinance, we added that in there, but we only added it to the M1 section of the zoning ordinance. So what we're wanting to do is add it to the M2 or part of the zoning ordinance as well. Because when it comes to a commercial kitchen, that is what's necessary for like food trucks, things like that. They need a commissary to be able to go to. And we have a lot of property that is M2 zoned that could potentially fit that use that Enterprise is needing. And so within that, we do recommend this ordinance change.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Harden. Well, at this time, I'll open the floor for public comment to the commission at this time for this request from the City of Enterprise to amend Table 5-2. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment at this time, and I will accept the motion from the commission on the request by the City of Enterprise to amend Table 5-2, permitted use non-residential district of the zoning ordinance to allow commercial kitchens at permitted use in an M2 zone. Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the request from the City of Enterprise to amend Table 5-2 for permitted use, non-residential district of the zoning orders to allow commercial kitchen as permitted use in M2 zone. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? Passes. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda, we have a request by the City of Enterprise to amend Table 6-3, permitted use planned residential district of the zoning ordinance to allow gas stations subject to section 5.01.05 as a permitted use in planned residential districts.
Commission, so basically the same story. When we adopted our new zoning ordinance, we did not specifically say that a gas station would be allowed within a planned residential district. Planned residential districts are basically what Cotton Creek subdivision is up on 27 North. So within that, we understand that is a right. We have no reason for that to go away. What we wanted to do is to clean it up, make sure it was put in there, because we have some other ordinances that protect certain areas from not having gas stations, specifically not allowing them on, not allowing like diesel traffic on local roads, or allowing gas stations to not have an access onto a state highway. So within allowing this, if somebody were to want to come through and do a planned residential district, they would still have to fit those criteria before we would allow them to put a gas station there. So within that, we don't see that there would be any adverse effect of allowing in a planned residential district a gas station to be put in by right, because they would still have to comply with the other regulations within our ordinances.
Okay. So as you stated, so over in the Cotton Creek area, the gas station that's already there, they're already grandfathered in. So you're making it where in other locations, like I would say where the Legends Travel Center is coming in that area on 167, kind of, so they would be able to fit in any housing area.
So basically what it is because of when we adopted the zoning ordinance, what unintentionally happened is with Cotton Creek's gas station, we sunset it because of this ordinance not including gas stations. So to fix that issue in case that there's ever need to be a sale of the property or anything like that, we want to go ahead and make sure that it is allowed.
It's already covered.
That way, it's not a grandfathered issue, it's a permitted by right, and
Right.
it can go straight through if necessary.
Well, thank you. Thank you for squaring that away. That's good
Sir.
thinking. Okay. Okay, at this time, is there anything to Mr. Hardy? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hardy. Well, at this time, we'll open the floor for public comments. You have 3 minutes to address the commission at this time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment at this time. And I will accept a motion and a second for a request by the City of Enterprise to amend Table 6.3, permitted use planned residential district of the zoning ordinance to allow gas stations subject to Section 5.0105 as permitted use in planned residential district.
Motion to accept. Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the request by the City of Engineer to amend Table 6-3, planned residential district of the zoning ordinance to allow gas stations subject to Section 5.0105 as permitted use in planned residential district. Are there any questions? All in favor for approval, raise your right hand. Any opposing? Passes. Thank you very much. Staff, is there anything else for the commission at this time?
Commission, I do want to bring something to your attention. Over the last week, over this weekend, I was notified about it on Friday. We do have a scam going around that is being sent out to our developers that is asking them to pay a $15,000 rezoning fee by wire transfer. It's illegitimate and it's a scam, but the documentation itself does actually look pretty professionally done. The email that's sent, the invoice actually has our city seal on it with a double, with a transparent seal and then the normal seal on top. So it could catch somebody who is unexpecting, in a situation where they end up sending this money. But I do want to put it in public record. We've turned it over to our police department. They have posted about it on our social media that it is a scam. We have notified our developers that there's this scam going around, and so we're doing everything in our ability to keep people from getting scammed with this, but I did want to bring that to your attention. So if you hear anything about it, if anyone brings it to you, if anyone asks you about it, the City of Enterprise is never going to ask you to pay by wire transfer for anything. We're never going to ask you to only solely communicate with us by email. And if anything looks fishy, come straight to me. I'll have it. I'll have an answer for you. I'll figure out what's going on.
Okay, thank you. And before you sit down, Mr. Hardy, I'd just like to, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for the request that was put in to change to clarify. Thank you, City Attorney, if she was involved, and everyone that was involved in making these corrections, because the way you explained it, it seemed like it would straighten things out for something happening, in the future. So
Yes,
thank
sir.
you all for the time that you all put in that. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And also, is there, before I go to anything for the commission, is there anything else from the staff? Okay, well, I would just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I'd like to thank the staff here for, I know it's volunteer, and I appreciate everything you do. You all have supported me greatly, straightened me out when I need it, and I do appreciate it. I want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you all very much. I do appreciate it. And I thank you all for attending, and everyone that have taken the time to come before the commission, to use the time that we do provide to them throughout this year to bring their opinion, because we want to hear from the community. I appreciate that. And the staff for making sure that we have what we need
Loren-
to do our mission.
The city would like to thank you for your leadership with the city planning. As long as you've been doing it, it's run so smooth, getting clarification out. But thank you. Merry Christmas to you and Shirley for your leadership, for helping us and for helping your community, for
Thank
all you
very
do.
much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Mr. Rogers, do you have anything you'd like to say? Well, thank you again, and glad you're here. Did you have anything to say? Ms. Dodge? Well, thank you all. Okay, well, at this time, I will accept the motion to adjourn. Motion. Have a motion and a second to adjourn. Are there any questions? All in favor, raise your right hand to approve. Adjourn. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.